Hi guys, welcome back to Ronji. I'm excited to have you here as well. Thank you so much for joining us in yet another episode. I'm sitting here with my friend of so many years, but today she's not coming in as a friend. She is a therapist. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. I'm Maggie Gitu. It's really Margaret, but everyone calls me Maggie.
Yeah.
And I'm a marriage, family, and sex therapist.
Okay. And today we are going to talk about relationship. A different kind of relationship which hasn't lasted a long time and which gets to end before it even exists for a long time. And so we are talking, in other words, we are talking about infant loss. I know some of you have gone through the experience, and we just want to know what to do, how to, go about it if you are going through that kind of similar situation. And so thank you so much, Maggie, for joining me on this episode.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And so let's go right into it. My first question to her would be, what should a mother do at the moment they receive news of their child passing? They've just lost a baby. How should they handle the news?
Yeah. I stay away from words like should because you really can't know. Every loss is different, and
Yes.
every mother finds out at a different part of the process that they've lost their child.
Yes.
I would say, what can a mother do? A mother can do anything that feels right to them in that moment. Whether it's asking all the questions in the world so that the doctors can answer everything you're thinking, whether it's asking to hold your baby so that you can, have the feeling of cradling them, so you can say goodbye, whether it's draping them in something special that you brought from home,
Yes.
whether it's naming them or praying over them, whatever feels right to you, especially in that very raw first moment of hearing that the child
Is no more. Yeah.
The important thing is to move from the core of you, right, rather than from the expectations of other people. Some people will cry, and
Yeah.
others will be too numb
Yes.
to cry,
Yes.
and others will be in a completely different state. Some people will have a partner, some people will be by themselves, some will
Yeah.
have family.
Yes.
So there's no way to say you should or you shouldn't. And maybe that's the one thing I would say is
Yeah.
you shouldn't depend or rely or be controlled by what other people expect
Of
from
you
you.
to do. Yeah.
You're the one who has had the loss.
Okay.
You're the one who has had the loss. So what feels right for you in that moment?
Yes,
Start
you can
there.
do it.
Yes.
And usually it's a very devastating moment, filled with a lot of emotions. And sometimes a mom feels like they did something for that to happen.
Yeah.
Like either they did something to aid that in happening, or they didn't do enough to prevent that from happening. What would you tell such a mom?
You know, motherhood, I like joking and saying children take 9 months to bake.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's like a cake.
Yes, they do.
And mothers really do, I want to say almost everything. If you tell a mother don't drink milk, they won't drink milk.
Oh yeah.
If you tell a mother drink a gallon of milk every day, they will
They'll
drink a
do
gallon
it
of milk
for
every
the
day.
sake of the baby.
Right.
Yes.
The only reason a mother is thinking I did something or I didn't do something is because the outcome is so devastating. And so try not to believe those thoughts. Try not to take them at their value as if they're true. In fact, one of the things that I do say quite a bit is that your feelings are valid
Yeah.
and they're not necessarily true,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
The fact that you feel I should have done more, it's a valid feeling because you're feeling lost
Yes.
and kind of looking what is an answer to the situation.
Yes.
But that feeling is not based in fact.
It's not factual.
It's not
and So
factual.
you should learn to ignore it.
Yes, there is fact and there is fiction.
Okay.
The fiction is that if only I had done this, then
Yeah.
the child may have lived.
Yes.
Maybe.
Which is not necessarily true.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
not for you to say.
Yeah.
It's not for you to say. If a doctor tells you, next time don't do this, they're talking about a medical
Condition.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Or if the doctor says maybe you shouldn't have, and they're unlikely to say that because I'm telling you there are very few losses that a person can point to and say it's because you did X.
Or you didn't.
It's because you didn't do
out.
Y,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So your feelings are valid, they're not necessarily true, and if they're
Yeah.
not true, then they are a fiction.
Yes.
They're not a fact.
Yes.
Yes?
And so they shouldn't reflect on the entire, on where the blame lies.
Right. The other thing I'd like for parents who've lost a child and families who've lost a child to remember is that it's not all up to you. Your role is very specific and minimal.
Okay.
Right? I think anyone who's had a child can tell you your role in bringing a human living being to the planet is very limited.
It is limited, yes.
And sometimes these kinds of losses happen and it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about
beyond
you. It's beyond you.
Wow. I love that you said not to look at ourselves because it could be things beyond your own limits as a mother.
Yes.
Now, there's another thing which comes in. For example, when you've had a child loss and you've been notified that you don't, the baby you were expecting is no more. And some facilities offer some sort of counseling.
Yeah.
And so the one thing a mother usually seeks to know is the reason why. Is this important? Is it important to seek for a reason why it happened?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We seek the reason why even when someone dies in a car accident.
Oh, yeah?
When you hear this person was in a car accident and they died, you want to know, did they hit something? Did something hit them? Was there poor lighting?
Yeah.
Were they drunk? We seek the reason why.
Yes.
Because it's part of the process of letting go. Or accepting. Right? The thing to add to that is that the pursuit of the reason why doesn't need to be the only way to grieve, right? Sometimes things happen and even doctors don't know why.
The reason why.
Right?
I agree.
Sometimes we ask God, why would you do this to me? Or your higher power, whoever it may be.
Yes.
And then your higher power is quiet. The asking of the why is not an issue I encourage you to ask.
Yeah.
Also because doctors may be able to say the child got strangled by the umbilical cord or something
Labor
else
took
went
so
wrong.
long.
Yes. So the asking for me is appropriate and necessary.
Yes.
And very okay.
Okay.
The demand for the answer is where people can get tripped up.
Okay.
Because it is based on the assumption that there is a
something,
why.
Yes.
There isn't always a why.
Yeah.
Right? There isn't always a why, and sometimes the why isn't helpful. Sometimes they'll tell you it was a spontaneous abortion. It just happened.
Yeah.
Well, now you're no better off than where you were a minute ago, right?
I think that's very important to note.
Yes.
That sometimes the reason behind is not helpful.
It's not helpful. Sometimes it's not available.
Yeah.
It's not. Sometimes it's not available. You did everything correct. You ate all the right foods, did all the right things.
Yes.
And still this happened.
The doctors did their bit.
Yeah.
They did their best.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask something a little hard, okay? Some women have experienced infant loss, and back in their mind, they think something should have been done. Like it's not them. We're not saying it is anybody. Remember, we said it couldn't. Sometimes it's not even somebody's blame or something, but they feel like they've been wronged for this to happen. What message can you give them so that is their feelings valid? Should they feel that way? Should they just let go without, putting a blame on the other party?
Sometimes some people deserve to be blamed.
Okay.
It's the truth.
Yeah, because we are all human.
We are all human.
Yes.
Sometimes a doctor dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes a nurse didn't do what they needed to do.
A midwife.
Sometimes a midwife missed something critical.
Okay.
Sometimes the mother.
Oh, yeah.
Or the father.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
It's good you said the mother. Sorry, guys. I've been through this before. And one of the things my dad told me during my loss is to look at what could I have done differently. Do you think, in fact, he said it in a very loving, very concerned way, like, do you feel it's something else you could have done different along the journey? And you've just said something along those lines, and it made me remember. Yeah, it could be even you as a mother. Yes.
Sometimes there is blame, right?
Okay.
And I don't even like the word blame, so I take that back. Sometimes
responsibility.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes something did go wrong that can be pointed to,
Okay.
right?
I like
If
that.
you had a high-risk pregnancy and your
Yes.
doctor said get on bed rest, and you didn't get on bed rest,
Yeah.
even for valid reasons,
Oh yeah.
then you have this outcome.
Yes.
It's not about blaming because
Yeah.
what has happened has happened.
Yes.
It's about owning.
Yes.
It's about saying, I could have done this differently. If I have another chance to do this,
Yes.
I will take bed rest more seriously,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes a doctor dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mean to. And you
Yes.
and I, we've talked about this many times. We
Yes.
value doctors tremendously.
We do.
A lot.
We do.
Right?
Yes, we do.
And sometimes some doctors just are not functioning at the level and capacity that they really should. Right?
And they are expected to.
And yes, their ethical, moral, personal obligation,
Yes.
they're functioning below that.
Yes.
That information is important to you because it helps you decide, how do I want to move forward,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Do I want to communicate my anger with the doctor or my feelings?
Yes.
Do I want to take them to court?
Yes.
Do I want to switch doctors and start this journey with a whole different
new team. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So I wouldn't tell people, no, just move on and just don't think about it. Do think about it.
Yeah. Analyze it.
Analyze it. Because like your dad said,
Yes.
when you took yourself back and said, what could I have done differently?
Yes.
Then you say, you know what, honest to God, I did my best.
Yeah.
I did the best within my capability
To do. Yes.
to take care of this pregnancy, take care
Oh,
of
yeah.
this baby.
Yes.
That also helps you for the nights and the days when your mind is running. You can say, I've been down this road a million times.
Yes.
I know the answer.
Yes.
I know the answer. I just don't like the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Knowing something and liking
Yes.
it are not the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't like that I lost my child, but I know that it's not through any fault of my own,
Yes.
right? And if it's through the fault of another,
Yeah.
you allow yourself the opportunity to say, how do I want to be? And that decision and that answer doesn't have to be immediate.
Yeah. It can take time.
It can take time.
As you continue to grieve, as you continue to,
Yes.
sit in your emotional
Yes.
self during that time,
Yes.
you can come up with way forward.
Yes, way forward. Some parents start a foundation in their child's name.
Oh,
Some parents discover that the
beautiful.
child, right?
yeah.
Some parents discover that the child would have been born with a condition that is rare. And so then they decide, I want it to not be so hidden.
Yeah.
It's rare, but I want
Yes.
people to know
Okay.
about it.
Yes.
Right? Some people get into the policy space and they start advocating.
Okay.
Mothers need, this is where we started having mothers getting folic acid
Oh, yeah.
and prenatal vitamins.
Yes.
Our mothers didn't.
Okay.
But over
okay.
time, they discovered that we just didn't have enough nutrients and we were losing
take
too many
care of,
children.
yes.
So then it became a policy
Yeah.
that every mother needs to get folic acid and
Yes.
prenatal vitamins.
And if you're listening to this and you're a new mother in waiting, please go ahead and get your vitamins.
Yes.
Go ahead and, do whatever is necessary for a mother. Walk the journey with a professional.
Yeah.
Go to attend your
Clinics. Yes.
yeah, follow the doctor's advice. And if you're going through an infant loss right now, you're the one we are speaking to. It's not easy.
It's one of the most devastating experiences of a person's life. And I say a person because we always think of a mother's life, but actually also fathers grieve
Oh, yeah.
terribly the loss of their children. Grandparents who are excited, this is going to be my first grandchild.
Yes.
And then this is the outcome.
This is going to be named after me,
Yes.
You know
this
the
will be
African
named after
culture and
me.
all.
Yes.
Were you named after somebody?
I was.
I'm only asking her because she's my friend, okay?
I'm named after probably my favorite person in the world, my grandma. Yes.